Welcome to the Director's Cut podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. In this podcast, we will feature stories that didn't make the final cut for the live radio show, but they are excellent stories and need to be shared. This story was submitted for the September 2024 Workaday World radio show. Doug Gross wrote this story about learning to work in an office environment after moving to Tennessee from the, dare I say it, North. One of the first things he learned, you gotta love those UT Vols. Here now is The Real UT by Doug Gross, read by Doug and Denise Gross and Matt Gulley.
You can expect to learn three things when you move to Tennessee from
the North.
The first one is the difference between a Yankee and a damn Yankee. The second is there is no other UT but the University of Tennessee. And third, people in Tennessee take their football seriously. And when I say football, I really mean the Vols. That's the UT Volunteers for the uninitiated. If you want to bring a crowd to its feet singing karaoke in East Tennessee, just learn all the words to all the verses of Rocky Top, the Vols fight song, and you'll be fine. You don't even have to sound good because everyone else will be singing too. Now I say all that to say this. I hadn't learned all those rules when this little story happened. When I first moved to Tennessee from
the North,
I worked for a local manufacturer in their IT department. All of them were great people, but one of them in particular was that UT Vols fan who was just born that way. The entire family huddled around the TV every Saturday and watched the UT games. These are the kinds of folks whose pregnant wives knew better than to go into labor on a Saturday between August and January. That was my friend David's kind of family.
Honey, the baby's coming.
Coming? Now?
Yes, we gotta go to the hospital now.
Now? It's the fourth quarter. We're down 2 points. We've got possession. There's only 2 minutes left, and we're almost in field goal range.
But honey, we gotta go.
Listen. We're having a son. He'll understand if you just tell him he needs to hang on.
That kind of football fan. It's always seemed like if UT decides they're going to lose to University of Florida, they don't do it halfway. They really lose. So imagine, it's Friday afternoon, and tomorrow is the UT versus Gators game. UT has had a fabulous year. It's looking good for the good guys.
Saturday.
They don't just lose. It's awful.
Sunday.
I get this idea that David needs to have some modifications done to his PC at work in celebration of the game. So my wife and I took a little trip to the office. Now this is back in the days when security wasn't even an afterthought on Windows 98. So I booted up his desktop, changed his background to a tiled picture of the Florida Gators logo, and changed every Windows sound to the Florida fight song. So no beeps, no You've Got Mail, just the Florida fight song. Finally, I turned the volume all the way up on his external speakers.
Monday morning.
I get into work early and position my chair so I can see it all, and in walks David. He walks by and he looks like someone shot his dog. He sits down, adjusts his chair, flips on his computer. In all its glory, the Florida Gators fight song blasts out the speakers, and the Florida Gator pops up across his computer screen. He freezes for just a moment, then his head drops and bangs on his desk. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then something really fabulous happened. A few weeks later, I'm at a local bookstore, and I'm gazing across the shelves, and what do I see? I see 365 Reasons Why I Hate UT. I knew what I had to do. Our company was spread across multiple buildings across town, so we had an intercompany mail service. You know, the ones with manila interoffice envelopes. And my job took me all over the company. So I would randomly go to various other places in the buildings, find their interoffice mail drop, rip a page out the book, stuff it in the envelope, and go back to my cubicle and wait. In addition, David had a plethora of manuals at his desk, which he utilized frequently. So one night, I inserted pages from 365 Reasons Why I Hate UT randomly inside his books. And between the interoffice mail and the computer manuals, I would be sitting at my desk working, and suddenly a trail of expletives would begin to flow out of David's cube. It was glorious. Finally, I started to feel bad, and I sent him the rest of the book wrapped up like a Christmas present. There are not enough adjectives to describe the moment he unwrapped his present. But the funniest part came years later. I'd been laid off from the company, and I went back to have lunch with my old team over a year later. We went to a nice little Italian place right down the road with outdoor seating. We're catching up with everyone's lives, and David says,
"You know what happened this morning? I opened my EDI manual in one of those blankety blank blank pages from the blankety blank blank 365 Reasons Why I Hate UT book came falling out. I swear, if I ever find out who did that, I will kill them with my bare hands."
Fortunately, it was a really wide table. I started laughing and said, "David, it was me." He lunged. I almost fell out my chair trying to evade his reach. I think he was truly offended. Moral of the story is, don't mess with UT. The real UT.
Thank you for tuning in for the Director's Cut podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. Check in next month for more stories. StoryTown is supported by the Tennessee Arts Commission, Trivia with Buds, The Silver Raven, Gary and Sandy Degner, Mountain Empire Cremation and Burial Services, and of course, the Wild Women of Jonesboro.